How's it going everybody? Simon here. Welcome to my music channel. For something just a little bit different today, I thought I'd talk about the drum set that I use on quite a regular basis for all the gigs that I do with my band Fennec, as well as being a freelance musician, as well as explain about the different parts of the drum set to anybody out there who has a fair bit of an idea for drums, but also people that are looking to get started on drums. So, let's get started. And before I mention that though, rocking the Spider-Man shirt here, happy 20 years to Spider-Man, because it's been 20 years since the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, but also because this year they're going to be re-releasing Spider-Man No Way Home this year, the extended version. Now that we've got the geek stuff out of the way, let's get into the drum part. So just to explain about the different parts of the drum set, we're going to start with the biggest drums on the drums first, literally and figuratively. So the biggest drum we've got on the drum set here is the bass drum. Now this is in fact a floor tom from my very first drum set that I got when I first started, that I converted into a floor tom. Now the bass drum is played with this pedal attached to it here on the bottom, and it sounds like this. Very big punchy sound there, and the best way to tell which is the bass drum is that the bass drum is always going to be the biggest drum on the drum set. So that is the bass drum. Now the next important drum we've got here is the snare drum. Now if I just grab a stick, just move that out of the way, and if I give that a bit of a whack, it sounds like this. Now it's called the snare drum because of the wires that are on the bottom head, now, which of course touching the bottom head, which gives it that sound. And you see this little switch right here next to the snare drum. If I just turn that off, and if I give the drum a little whack, it takes the snares off the bottom head and it changes the whole sound completely. Let's turn that back on. That is the snare drum. Now the next drum we've got up here is the tom, the high tom, and this is a 12-inch tom, and it sounds like this. So that is the high tom. The next drum we've got right over here is the floor tom, and I'll give that a bit of a whack. That is the floor tom, or the low tom. Now that's 4 drums there, and this is like a 4-piece drum set because of the 4 drums we've got here. Now the rest of the parts of the drum set, these yellow circles over here, are what's called cymbals, which are these ones right over here. Let me start off with the most important ones on the drum set first. Now the biggest cymbal on the drum set here is the ride cymbal, and if I give that a bit of a hit, so you can play it across here, or you can play it up on this little part here, which is the bell. So that is the ride cymbal, and just like with the bass drum, the best way to tell which one is the ride cymbal is always the biggest cymbal on the drum set. The next cymbal we've got up over here is the crash cymbal, and if I just give that a bit of a hit, that is the crash cymbal. And the next set of cymbals we've got over here, and these are 2 of them, is the hi-hat. Now if I give that a bit of a hit, now there's a couple of different ways to play the hi-hat. Now it can be played with like this little pedal on the bottom here, which puts the hats together, so you can play it like this, you can play it like that, you can even play it with the foot. So that is the hi-hat. Now the rest of the parts of the drum set here I've got, this is another snare drum I've got, which is a Greg Bissonette signature snare drum, and if I play that, very different sounding snares to the one I've got over here. Now, and the next pair of drums I've got is a little invention of mine, is some old hi-hats that I've got, which I've drilled holes into them, so it's kind of like a trash hi-hat in a way, and I've turned it into kind of like a little remote hi-hat using an old hi-hat stand I've got. If I just play that, have a listen to it. So that's my little trash hat right there. And the last drum I've got over here is my gong drum, which is actually my bass drum that I converted into a gong drum. So going for that very kind of Simon Phillips, Todd Suckerman kind of thing. And if I give that a bit of a hit, so that is the gong drum. Just going to add a little bit of extra information to all the drums I've got here on the drum set. Now for the snare drum, for my main snare drum over here, this is actually a 14x5 aluminium snare, and it's a beautiful sounding snare drum. As for the toms I've got over here, I've got a 12-inch high tom, a 13-inch floor tom, and a 16-inch bass drum, or floor tom, converted into a bass drum. As for the heads I've got on all these drums here, I've got Remo coated ambassadors on the snare drum and the toms, and an Evans EMAD on the floor tom or the bass drum to give it that real kind of bass drum kind of sound as well. As for the snare drum I've got up on the side over here, this is a 14 by 6.5 Greg Bissonette signature snare drum, an aluminium snare. Now of course, a variety of different snares out there are going to be made of either wood or metal. The metal snares are going to give it a different sound compared to wood snares. So that's just personal preference. So it's really up to you which one you want to go for. As for the cymbals I've got over here, I've got Artist Preface cymbals, which are an Australian brand of cymbals, and they sound absolutely beautiful. As for my trash hi-hat over here, this is actually a headliner brand of cymbal, which is a part of the brand Minor, which is a really famous cymbal company. And for my gong drum, this is a 22-inch bass drum converted into a gong drum. So that's basically the little details regarding my drum set over here. And as you can see, I've got a different drum set right over next to me. This is actually my bigger drum set, but I wanted to do a video primarily focused on this drum set because I use this drum set a lot. Actually, for the 90% of the time with gigs I do with my band Fennec, as well as doing a lot of freelance work, including playing with fellow singer-songwriter Duxie Franklin. I'll be sure to put links down below, excuse me, for all the bands and all the stuff for more information about the acts I play with. So hopefully this video is enough to explain how drums work, the different parts of the drum set, as well as what I use as a drummer personally. So hopefully that helps out a fair bit. So if you guys are looking to be interested in more videos of me explaining more about drums, maybe like drum lessons or extra tips you need, just comment down below. So that's it. Hopefully you guys have gotten a lot out of this and understand what I use on this. Be sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the links below, and don't forget to comment below for any requests or any suggestions you have for my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Happy 20 years to Spider-Man, and happy drumming. This is Simon, signing off. Bye for now.